All right, guys, welcome to Inside the Cell. We are here in the Carlsbad office, and we're like here right before the road to Hall of Fame that's going to take place here soon. And we got two up-and-coming Hall of Famers. I'm going to speak it into existence because they got goals to hit them, and there's no reason why they can't. And we're going to dig into some things today that they have learned in their 6, 7 months with us, whatever the time may be, that has allowed them to go, you know what? These are some things that if I keep doing them consistently, there's no shot I don't help 400 plus families a year. And in this Inside the Cell, we kind of, this is very, very specific to things that you as the listener and agent can go, I'm going to put that in play today. Like, I'm listening to this on the way to my appointment right now, and I heard what Chris said about this taking control. I'm going to do that. All right, so we want to give you some very practical things, but we have two agents in here, and I'll start off with, we got my man Chris Brown Chris Brown in the place to be. What's up, Chris?
I'm doing good.
Where you from, dude?
Me. Sacramento.
Sacramento, and how long you been with us?
About 8 months, 9 months now.
8, 9 months. And we're going to get into a few things of why you believe and what you're going to do to hit Hall of Fame in 2022. But next up, we got Pardeep out of Ventura. How are you, Pardeep?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am excellent. It's good to have you. How long you been with us?
About 6 months now.
6 months. And let's start with you, Pardeep. First off, why do you believe you could hit Hall of Fame?
Because I know I want it.
You want it. Okay. Why do you want it?
Because I need it. It has to be done. I want to lead from the front, first of all. I definitely believe in building a big company, and I definitely believe in building a big team. So I know if I expect things from others, that I need to do it myself first. So it needs to come from me, and it needs to be something that they can't make an excuse about. Like, so they can't say, well, I don't know if I can do this. Well, look at me. If you just can mirror me, not that I'm perfect, because no one is perfect. But if you can just mirror my work ethic, then I can help you get there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And what's the most families you've helped in a month?
About 19.
19. Okay, so to get to Hall of Fame, you have to help about 38 families a month, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. How are you going to almost double that? What have you worked on? And that you see yourself getting better at to take you to that next level? What is that?
Well, for me, I think it starts with the phones. So I've intentionally put in more time where I can actually learn. So first it starts with learning, building yourself, making yourself better. Again, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect by all means. But, just getting better at the phones. How can I get rid of this objection? Or how can I take care of this? So what I've done is where I've gone through different learning curves. So whether it's, trying new methods of dialing or new scripts, or maybe adding a few scripts and changing them into what feels comfortable for Pardeep. What's comfortable for Pardeep is not comfortable for Chris, because then he's pretending to be me, which is not going to work. So we need to be real to ourselves and be genuine, but need to know that, okay, I need room to work on, or I know I need to be better at this or better at that. So we just need to focus on that. And for me, I think it starts with dialing the phone. So if we don't have any appointments, we don't have any families to see, and now we're not closing anything. So for me, means that we need to build ourselves to get better at the phone, learning how to get over the objections. So what I've done is, obviously, first of all, plugging in, learning how to get over those objections. Number 2 is when I'm in front of them, getting comfortable. So who cares if they hang up? Call them right back. Hey, it looks like we just got hung up, Bob. No, I hung up on you. Okay, well, perfect job. Perfect, Bob. That's okay. Just doing my job. Let them know. Tell them up front, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a telemarketer. Just doing my job. What's helped for me is, I think it was Alondra's podcast that we had in our little group chat. And she dials as a third person. Game changer. I put that into play. You know what, Bob? Sorry, I don't know the price for this. Or how much is this going to cost? How long is it going to take? I don't know, Bob. I'm just a scheduler. My job is simple. I just got to get you on the schedule so the underwriter can come see you. It takes her about 10 minutes. You got anything planned out for tomorrow? No, I should be home. Okay, perfect. And don't give them options. She'll be there at 1. Done. So if you take out the objections in the forefront, I think that'll help you book more appointments. So for me, that's helped a lot. Just being more intentional with your time. So this is where not, scrolling the web or on Instagram, going through a bunch of pages or doing other stuff. So be intentional with your time. And at the end of the day, you got to, evaluate what you're doing. So for me, that's where it's really started.
And you had you hit on a few really good things right there, okay? And then when you're talking about being, gosh, what's the word? Chris, you may know the word.
Intentional?
Yes. That dial thing, like you said, yeah, being intentional on the phone, your dial time, and was that something that you weren't before? Do you know what I mean? So when you say you're going to take it from 20 families a month to 37, is that something that you're hitting 19, 20 without being intentional?
Well, no, not necessarily. For me, it's just, we all have obligations. And so for me, it's, I got to be a mom first. I got to be a wife first.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of a sick mom. So that things come from me first. Again, we all have our own obligations that we're, tied to, and that's okay. But for me, I know that I want this so bad, and I'm going to make it work through my part-time hours. So if that means I got to double up on my appointments, I'm going to start double booking myself. No-show them. Don't let them no-show you. So that's where I want to change. So from right now, what I was doing when I was hitting the 19, 20 families helped every month, what I was doing was just booking myself every hour, letting them no-show me. Now what I'm going to do is start double booking them so then I can no-show them. And then this way, there's more of a ratio of me actually seeing people with my limited time, me being able to close more people with my limited time. So that's me, doubling up on my work ethic, to double up on my appointments, to double up what my results will become because of my time is being so limited.
Clear. Got it. Okay. Because I think and that's one, and that's another thing. Like when you're in the home and like you don't really understand something, ask for clarification. Do you know what I mean? I think that helps us in the home. You'd be like, well, they said they couldn't afford it. Well, ask them, what did that mean? Versus just going, oh, well, I could have just heard her and going, oh, okay, well, I guess she's just going to find more hours. You know what I mean? Just to work. And I guess, it's just, you don't know. You know what I mean? Versus, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to do this. I have to be way more intentional there. If I double book it and make sure that I'm not in a spot to where I'm waiting around for people, because the 12 hours I'm in the field is 12 hours in the field regardless. So I might as well make the most out of it. Oh, got it. She didn't make more time. She made more use of her time.
Exactly.
And I think that's a struggle for a lot of us. It's like, well, we only got 24. I'm like, no, everybody does. Same one. I look like, well, they've been doing it longer. This, like, yeah, but they still got the same day you got. What happened? You could have woke up earlier. You could have stayed up later. This whole thing about positivity, I've been hearing it a lot. Like, I think when you believe, she goes, I want it. Why do you want it? Because I said I want it. And when I say something, that's what I felt. No, you didn't say that, but like what? Because I said it. That's why. That's like, and you know what? Into a convinced person, that's enough. And the biggest person we got to convince typically is ourselves. And once you convince yourself, it's a wrap.
Absolutely.
And there's nobody who said, man, I can't believe I hit Hall of Fame. Dude, I don't even know. I just kind of stumbled upon that. I don't know how that happened. Dude, they were very intentional. And even times where they weren't intentional, it even made them even more intentional. I was talking to Stephen E about his run. I was like, man, you did that. He goes, yeah, dude, I just had to double up, man. I was running 30 appointments to run 60. I didn't think it was possible. Then I realized, wow, there is enough time. Wow, there is more I could be doing.
Exactly.
So Chris, Hall of Fame, right?
Of course.
You're on the track. One thing I've been seeing, dude, is I've been seeing you be a lot more consistent. I know I asked you to, like, what are you working on, but I'm going to just kind of tee you up, because one thing that I've seen you do in the past, and I know you don't mind, it is what it is, you'd go out there and help some families, and then he'd got going like a mini vacation. Like, he wouldn't like actually go anywhere either. Like, be in his house. You know what I mean? You'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, dude, I'm just at the house. We're doing what? Just chilling. You know what I mean? Just like, but it wasn't because he didn't want to go. It was just, but I want you to kind of get into the psychology of like, how did you find yourselves in those positions? where did you see yourself going? You weren't broke. It wasn't, man, I'm just being, no, man, you went out there and helped 6, 7 families. And dude, why wouldn't I take 3, 4 days off until next week? Why not? Right? But based on your goals and what you want out of it. And I think over the past month, dude, maybe month and a half, a lot of that has changed. You're putting in the same work, but you're responding differently to success. See, we respond to failure like, I'm going to get back to work because I want to look like a chump, right? But responding to success is truly, truly where leaders are formed. It's not in the losses. It's like, how do you respond when you're winning? Does Kobe put up 80 and then go, hey, I ain't going to go to practice for the rest of the week, y'all? See y'all at the game next week. We never heard him do that. And you're changing. So what are those changes there, and kind of what did you fall into? What was the thought process prior?
For sure. First and foremost, just thank you for having me on the call tonight. I think kind of touch base with Pardeep said, when I was writing the 15 to 20, I wasn't really being intentional. I was kind of just stumbling up on it because I was working kind of hard. You know what I mean? And so really tuning it up to write the most I wrote obviously with FFL, 32 families last month, I was just way more intentional and with my schedule, just putting the activity in. And kind of like we talked about a lot in Miami, me and you talked a lot, Dom, and we were talking about starting over, starting at zero. So even if I go out write 13 grand and 13 families helped in the weekend, I can make that decision to go out and Tuesday, Monday, make sure that we still are going to hit our goals and just continuously put the high activity there. So we're writing nothing less than 12 apps a week. And 12 apps a week is the goal, not necessarily. Well, honestly, the goal is the activity. So I'm going 35, 40 appointments a week just to get that activity, and that's going to keep me consistent because I want to really build a team, and my team has to see me in the trenches with them. I have to be in the field with my team at 9:30, 10 p.m. because if I'm not doing it, they feel they can't do it. And I've had agents before, and I wasn't the leader that I wanted to be solely because I wasn't consistent. I couldn't ask them to be consistent because I wasn't. So now we're just turning a different wavelength, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I hit Hall of Fame, and then most importantly, push myself to new limits, like Sean Mike was saying earlier in the Q&A, just working day to day to get better and really just taking myself to a different level and just accomplishing things I never thought I could.
I grew up, my mom was, I don't know if we were ever late on bills, and if we were, she made it happen. I'm pretty sure we were late sometimes, but like my point is, I think a lot of our models in life are very good bill payers. And I think in order to get good at this and have success at this, true success is getting ahead. And the way you were working was the way that I worked when I started. I was like, dude, my bills. I was like, how much is my bills? Like, how much are your bills a month, Chris? I remember I asked you this early on. You remember?
Yeah, I do. So you mean as far as like with leads and everything?
No. Personal bills.
Probably like three. I'll go $800.
$800. Okay. Well, look, just when I started, okay, my rent was $800. I split it in half. It was $400. Because I had a roommate. And then I had some car insurance. Called like $100 some bucks. I had my cell phone. It was like $80. And then I had a dog. Needed dog food. Like, dude, that's literally what it was when I started. And I remember Sean was like, all right, dude, I was going a little bit, right? And I spent he'd be like, so like, do you just plan on just like, you know, just always breaking, like, you know what I mean? Just always just having to start over. And like, dude, it's like, dude, you got to get ahead. You can't run to your means now. Because I understand you're 23. I understand I get that. But if you ever want to truly get ahead in business, your business, and it's totally different. I wanted to be able to help people out with leads. I wanted to be able to get an office. I wanted to have staff for new agents. I wanted to do all that. And all of that had no bearing on my personal life. And a lot of us only work to our personal life needs, desires. But when it's about other people, which the earlier you can get that, the better it is in the long run, because I started serving other people before I had kids. I have 2 kids now, 4 and 2. I've been in this business 10 years. I had 6 years that I had no children. So I learned, like, well, this is something that I need to do. You know, I need to do this. I need to imagine that, like, man, they're already here. Like, my personal bills are already $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 a month. You're like, that's crazy. I live in California. It's insane. It's just what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you're like, I live in Texas. I know. Like, you're great, dude. Stay there. You know what I mean? Stay
Don't come
there.
here.
All right? Don't come here. You
That's
just
true,
make it worse.
man.
You know, I don't know. Anybody was like, can I move to California? I was like, this guy told me that they moved here to spend money, not make it. So I was like, man, well, I'm just here. But it's, but what I mean is, you were fine.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I think a lot of us, if you're watching this right now, you're like, dude, I'm fine.
Comfortability.
I know you're fine. But check this out. You know when Chris ain't fine? Chris gets sick, right? Chris can't go work. Chris hasn't mastered telesales or virtual sales yet. Why? Because necessarily you don't really have to, right? Like, and you'd be like, why should I do that? I don't know. Maybe it's an insurance policy for you just in case something happens to you. Okay? You'd be like, I'm in the field all full time, killing it in person. I love you. That's what I would be doing too. But I don't know if my insurance probably would be, I want to build a team. Because if I'm out, you're out. You're out of the field, Chris, you're out. That makes sense? You're out. You know, things happen. I had cancer when I was 19 years old. Sean told me, this is kind of what invigorated me to build a business. He goes, how long were you out? I was like, dude, I was out like 6 months. He goes, ooh, what if you were out here doing that? I was like, oh, God. He's like, yeah, you need to build a team. You need to start hiring folks. Start helping them out. Start recruiting. You know? And I was like, 100%. Why? Because it's the right thing to do to help them. But second, if he told me this, you're not a business owner unless your business works without you there. And in leading from the front and having enough capital to make mistakes allows you to do those things. You know, allows you to, you know, bomb on, you know, you sign a lease on an office and you're like, dude, why did I do that? Like, dude, just break it, dude. It's all good. You got money, right? Like you sold it. Like I'm just saying, like, there's not things you want to happen, but be clear in business, things are going to happen. And when you have the cash flow, it don't hurt. You go, this is business. Andrew Taylor told me one time, I said, man, this is something bad happened in business. He goes, Dom, take that back. I was like, why do you mean? He goes, dude, the bad things don't happen in business. It's just business. I was like, damn.
That's so true.
That was very deep, right? But there's no confusion. 31, 32 years old, worth millions, does $20 million. It's like, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, it's not at all.
You know what I mean? It's just a very, very, he gets it. And I think the more and more we can all just get it, the earlier, like, he's a great example, man. Had his first child, 30 years old, signed with integrity, got another one on the way now. If you could write a book on how you want to just do it, like, dude, you did it. But the cool thing right now, Chris, you're writing your story.
Yeah.
It's how do you want it to look? How do you want the middle? How do you want the end to be? You know what I mean?
And that's the truth. Kind of how you said if I was to get sick, that's like an insurance policy. And that's kind of one of the things that would make me more consistent. Because I know regardless if I sell 15 grand or 15 families helped or 30 families helped, I'm still going to get chargebacks. So why not, like you say, get ahead of those chargebacks and really take this business to another level like I can and continue to grow and be able to invest in things that can build the business, get in office, producer bonuses, things that I should be getting regularly anyway for doing what I'm supposed to be doing and not taking time off when I'm honestly not doing anything with the time. And that's something I was doing. I wasn't on vacation, like you said. I was kind of just in my room, not dialing. Like I just could be dialing.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Like everybody likes to chill, but it's just funny to think about. Like I really just
hey, but you got to keep it real, man. People are like, you're just working all the time. I was like, dude, like I made mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Like, dude, like there'll be times I'll be like, oh wow, like yeah, like oh TNL's 15 minutes on and wow, I'm late. Like, what, does that happen? You're like, yes, it did happen. Today, no, I have alarms set 18,000 times. But when I started, you kidding me? Like the fly would cross up in front of me in the room. I'd be like, oh, wow, I just totally messed up my whole day. Like,
Man.
You just never, but you got to know and you got to grow from it.
You got to know yourself for sure.
100%. What in closing, Chris, what would you like to share with a new agent or somebody going, hey, man, is Family First Life the right place for me?
Well, I've been doing a lot of hiring. And I've been talking to Pardeep and you and definitely Bryce a lot. And people get confused with two things. They get confused with things they feel are negatives about Family First versus things they feel are negative about insurance industry in general. If you feel a chargeback is a negative aspect of coming to Family First, that's not a negative aspect of coming to Family First. That's a negative aspect of being in insurance. Leads. Leads is not a negative aspect of Family First. That's a negative aspect of being in insurance if you view it that way. I view leads as the only way to make commissions.
Yeah. Leads is a very positive aspect. I'd be like, if I didn't have, I wouldn't be in the business. People are like, why'd you get into this business? Because of the leads.
Man.
Like, but it wasn't like you're changing lives and selling lives. No, it wasn't. Not at all. It was leads. It was there was leads, so I can change lives and help people with life insurance. If there was no leads, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go hunt for that. It's just not.
I came from an IMO where we had a hunt.
I wouldn't even
literally, the whole mauling. We would do that. That's what they would teach us: is go out there, go to a grocery store, and talk to every other person you see. Go to them. Hey, your shirt looks great, and then you start up a conversation. It doesn't get that far, you guys. There's only so many hours you can spend roaming with your kids in Target and talking to every other mom and every other dad there. Like, it's not going to get far. It really won't. Here, there's an abundance of leads.
Man, I love it. That was one of the biggest things why I came to the company, because my family members were telling me to get into life insurance because I really didn't have too much of a plan, and I thought this was something I could do. I wanted to be in financial services for sure. And like, I came across Family First Life and there was leads. And I never was pitched on there being the best lead, and that's something that we talked about a lot. I struggled with at the beginning. It's just we have so many leads, and so many leads just adds to so many sales. Because that's all leads are, and if you look at leads the right way, and you buy enough leads, there's just a numbers game. And running 40 appointments a week is kind of what really been changing me the last couple of weeks. Been having some really big weeks consistently, and it's not necessarily I'm closing more people. I'm just sitting with more people, so naturally I close more.
Exactly.
And then I get momentum. And when momentum seeks in, it's not about me wanting to take a break and chill. You love running. There's nothing bad coming. You got 5 chargebacks. You get 8 policies paid on top of those chargebacks. You want to keep going. And then you keep going, and then you keep going, and then it becomes fun. And then once that consistency comes in, that's the momentum. And the momentum comes the confidence. And when the confidence comes in, that comes the closing. And then you just add more leads on, and you scale your business, and then you open an office, and you do things to expand out of your comfort zone. And getting out of your comfort zone is how you become who you really want to become in this business. And one thing I kind of always tell myself in closing is perspective. Any bad thing that happens, it's all about perspective. Rather it's me having to wake up early, me having to deal with clients on the back end, me selling policies, and underwriting is perspective. Perspective. Everything's about perspective. Would I rather be doing this? Would I rather be doing something else? And I love FFL, and I'm so thankful to be in the opportunity that I'm in.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy for you. I'm proud of where you're going, and I know you and Pardeep will definitely hit Hall of Fame this year and help many people do the same thing. And that's the cool part about it. And our clients, they're forever grateful. I just had a death claim last week. Give me a call, and they just don't stop. You know what I mean? This is, like I said, 10 years in the business, and a lot of families helped, and it's one of those bittersweet calls that we get. I know Pardeep just had one a couple weeks ago, and it's real. It's real.
It really is.
It's a real thing, and you go out there and you're in the mode of being so fearful of how you're gonna mess up and things like that, and the next thing you know, you think like, man, like they really don't care. Like, honestly, I wish I would have pushed a little bit. There's some when I first got my first death claim that I was like, man, I wish I would have pushed a little bit harder on some of these other folks that I was thinking about. Because I remember the one that I did, my first death claim, it wasn't the easiest. But thank God the wife actually pushed the husband for me. Because the wife pushed the husband to get the insurance. And I remembered the appointment. And I was like, man, she did all that.
Man.
And I was just kind of like there, and I had the license to help him. But in that moment, I realized that I could have screwed Edward up if his wife wasn't around. And I took that into my future appointments, and I took that into, in my approach on the phone and the stick-to-itiveness to just get through the crap. You know what I mean? Because this business is not pretty. This is not a sexy business, be clear, at all. You're like, I'm like, dude, like oh, real estate and, even like some other like Forex or whatever's going on out there. Dude, that seems a little bit sexier. This is like, for real, life insurance. I thought it was like old guys with briefcases and corduroys. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think, but, we're changing it up. You know what I mean? We're changing it up. It's looking different. You know what I mean? We're having fun with it. The process in which is that we can get in front of people and the speed is catching up. Social media is a whole nother game changer. So I appreciate you guys hopping on. This has been fun. A lot of insight.
Appreciate you for having me.
Thank you.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you.